doesn't understand. And so the question that's asked here by the Silver Surfer is, who's come out on top here? Is it Eternity, or is it Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet? What he says is that the person who loses is the person who has chosen defeat subconsciously, who has already simply just allowed himself to lose. And so what we see Adam Warlock more or less saying is that the successor here is most likely Thanos. And the reason why is because Eternity recognized the fact that Thanos probably has more power than he does, but that Eternity is not fighting logically, he's not fighting reasonably, he's fighting out of anger, he's fighting out of rage, he's allowing his emotions to get the better of him. And when a person fights in an emotional state, they're not thinking rationally, and by virtue, they can't be intelligent. At this point, we see Adam Warlock telling Doctor Strange that they need to be retrieved, and so Doctor Strange teleports them back to the planet Earth. What we see, again, kind of going on here is this explanation of what all's taken place, that the cosmic entities have been imprisoned. But then we get, I guess, a little further expansion by saying here that that Eternity is one of the cosmic entities that has now been imprisoned, indicating to us that Thanos has in fact come out on top, that Thanos has been able to use his power to defeat Eternity. And so from here we see that for the most part, Thanos doesn't necessarily appear to be dead, he simply appears to be unconscious, and Taraxia is trying to speak with him. She's trying to awaken him from his state, and she asks him to simply just speak, to say something, to do something to indicate that he's alive. But what we see is that Thanos appears in the cosmic entity form of Eternity, indicating to us that Thanos has usurped Eternity as the absolute authority within the Marvel Earth 616 universe. From here, we're going to bring the first part of video number 5, or I guess of Infinity Gauntlet number 5, to an end, and we'll pick up in the next video when we see this sort of panic taking place, and we see that the defeat of Thanos comes from what we would consider to be the most unlikely person, the one person that none of us had really considered to be a threat at this particular point in time. So as we pick up with the second half of Infinity Gauntlet issue number 5, we're actually going to see things move at a pretty quick pace. In addition, we're going to see the circumstances begin to flip on Thanos, and again, this is all tied to Thanos' arrogance, because what we see taking place here is that the Watcher is informing us that Thanos has usurped the role of Eternity, and so within the Earth 616 universe, Thanos reigns supreme. Thanos has absolute power, and Thanos comments on this. Thanos responds to Taraxia when she asks him about his body, and he says it's no longer needed, that he's rid himself of something as base as flesh, and that he's rid himself of all vulnerability. And the Watcher comments, the Watcher says that because Thanos has absolute power within this universe, that Thanos can virtually change anything he wants to, that the Earth 616 universe is subject to his every whim, and that this may very well lead to the destruction of the universe, or even if it doesn't, it may lead to the universe being, irrevocably changed. But what we see taking place here is that, again, Thanos' arrogance has gotten the best of him, that in Thanos failing to more or less keep things in check, that he has succumbed to the fact that there are individuals out there,